welcome to another sessions of Hell's Horses.
Hell's Horses.
We have the old Sherriff, Hayes Alexander, and his deputy Birch Hobbs join us today. Guys, let's talk about the last couple sessions. Like, what kind of stuff did we learn? Where are we? Tell me. I'm excited to find out.
The Caldera town of Tombstone, in a ranch outside of town owned by Marcus Littlow. Birch and the sheriff Hayes found that most of his horses had been set loose, and subsequently his barn had burned down, and culprit at both instances seems to have been some large black steed with fiery mane and fiery hooves. We fought a zombie that kicked my ass and got decapitated by the sheriff. And then we took this information back to town where we healed me up. The sheriff got a little rough with our initial contact with the whole thing.
Thurston
Yummers.
Or at least I got up close and personal with him and questioned him rather uncouthly.
Mm-hmm. We found out, though, that the rifle we found on the deadman who we killed belonged to a friend of his, who was also a
ranch hand.
Yeah. What is his name?
Virgil,
who worked for Littlow, and then he apparently left the region with Litlow's wife Nella, his first wife.
Al.
Now, we found out from speaking to his current wife, Alva Littlow, that when the barn was burning down, he was approaching her with a knife. When I tried to press further, she went to the minister's wife to complain about how brusque I was being, and somehow for my discrepancies, the sheriff has had to join the choir because of his beautiful baritone voice. And we then saw the husband and wife Littlow outside of their general store fighting, and when we had realized that perhaps this nightmare was not the villain, but merely attempted to protect Alva, their lantern was thrown to the ground as they scuffled, and out from the flames hopped this hooven beast.
That's where we left off.
I can't wait to work the choir into future sessions. I'm so excited.
Oh yeah,
I'm so excited.
So let's just talk about something that we haven't done to this point. So Monster of the Week has something worked into it called the end of session experience. So when you're done a certain chunk of story, you're supposed to sit down and say, try answer 4 main questions. The first one is, did we conclude the current mystery? No, we haven't. Marcus is still around. The horse is still around. So we have not concluded this mystery. So we know that. The next question is, did we save someone from certain death or worse? Do you think have you guys saved anyone, you think?
I think
Birch.
I've been saved from certain death, I think, and also Lady Alva. I think if we had not caught on to what was going on with her husband, we would not have known to get involved, and he might have done something before their scuffle in the street. Do
you think that the threat of Marcus to Alva is fully neutralized at this point?
No,
not quite yet. But
okay,
I think
so I won't say we've saved her just yet. So I guess we're going to mark a no for that question, like a loose no.
We figured out that there's a threat to be stopped. I think is the main thing.
Yes. Yeah. Did we learn something new and important about the world?
Yes. Well, at least about this.
You found out when choir practice is.
It's true.
It's a big one.
Things.
Tuesdays and Sunday.
We found out that my horse's name is Pickle. We also found out that Thurston is an expert woodworker. We obviously found out that sometimes murdered spouses come back as hellish horses.
Demon horses.
Yeah.
Yeah, so don't piss off your wives.
Also, don't murder your wives.
That too.
I think that's a hard question for our first mystery. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
we're still setting up our world, so it's hard to discover something new and important when literally, like, actually everything is new and important at this point.
I think the important distinction there is, did we learn something new and important about the world? Maybe, but we've been learning new and important things about the mystery, which I think then count as not part of the world because they're a little more insular. So every like cool thing we found out, like Littlow had a first wife. We learned that. We had no idea. He might have killed her. We also found that, but it's not like the world at large that affects the mystery. So I would say no, but yes.
So the fourth question is, did we learn something new and important about one or more of the hunters?
The hunters?
That's you too.
Taylor can do big magic. The Sheriff Hayes can do, not big magic, sorry. Big magic is a whole different mechanic, but Taylor, in both the fight against the zombie, Hayes in both the Sheriff Alexander, in both the fight against the zombie and in healing myself, Deputy Birch, we learned that he is capable of magical practicing.
We also found out he's quite handy with a sword.
Which is rad as hell.
I think we talked about it after the session last time, but like I wasn't planning on you guys killing that zombie at that point.
Yeah.
That's not what I had in mind for that minion. Because so monsters are broken down into two categories. There's the head monster and then its minions. So we have the nightmare as our head monster for this mystery. The minion was Virgil. You've called him a zombie. I hadn't planned on him dying there. I was going to have him escape. That's why I caught you on fire. I was going to have the nightmare jump out. He was going to jump on the horse and run away. That didn't happen due to the
cool fucking moments. I wish you hadn't told me that, because all I can think of now is the image of the horse, this massive black horse jumping out of the fire on my neck and shoulder.
The sheriff said, nay.
That's the sheriff changed that for us. Like it was exciting. Like I just like the dice were there, and it's just that's the great thing about this game is you just roll with it and you make up that led us to our current moment that we're currently in, and what's happening right now wasn't my plan. Instead of Virgil being in town, the horse has to be in town because it's the only player you have left. Yeah, but I mean, the horse was going to show up in this scene. Things have changed, and that's the exciting part about Monster of the Week is nothing goes according to plan, even more so than other tabletops that we've played, and because the plan is already so loose. Yeah, because literally my plan is a sheet of paper with some notes on it. It's nothing. It's not that's a cool thing. There's no skill checks. There's no try and get through a chest. It's just it's not detailed like that. It's really nice. It's a conversation, and makes this game a lot of fun. I think so this is our third time sitting down and playing this game. We've loved every single time of it. So what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to take off that we talked about luck being I didn't want you guys using a lot of luck in this adventure because we thought this might be the only time we're playing it. We're going to continue playing this. Oh yeah, there's a thumbnail for it now. Yeah, we like this a lot. So you guys going to continue these characters. So I'm removing any restrictions I had placed on luck previously. So use it appropriately because I know that we've had so much fun. We were going to continue playing these characters. Now, with that being said, just so it's on the record, should we just super quick talk about what luck is? Because if I'm remembering, and it's spelled out pretty clearly on the sheet, but luck, you mark one luck to change a roll to 12 or to avoid all harm from an injury. So it can save you from dying or it can make you very successful. But you only have, 7 of them in your entire hunter's career. It's a lot like a cat's 9 lives almost. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because you go from the threshold, you go from how harm goes from okay to dying with unstable in the middle. With luck, you have okay to doomed. Yeah. And so once the 7th one happens, the next time something happens to you, you die. There's no fixing it. There's no saving it. Yeah. Yeah. And that I feel like we've all seen that play out in television shows where there's a character who his contract finally runs out and his luck is out and he gets killed. I think we see that where Buffy keeps saving this person over and over again. But after 2 or 3 years of the show, it's we're going to cut that actor. And you see his luck run out. I think the way they design that mechanic is very true to the source material. I was going to say it fits the genre really well. And it also, as a gameplay mechanic, it's there's so many games that don't have actually, I want to win mechanic. I want that to have been successful. It's cool, but it's so limited.
And these characters can go through so many times, and like it can be so counterintuitive because there's like last session, I don't think I did many rolls. It was the longer of the 2 sessions. Taylor's character was doing all sorts of things. And so
was busy.
There were so many more times where he might have had to use his luck, whereas I wasn't in a position.
I did want to use it once, and you said, no, you don't have to do that. We're not doing that here. I was like,
yeah. And like, there's times where like, I know that it's not as important. And if you guys want to use a luck in one of those moments, it's like, don't use it here. You know, like it's just a complete waste. And I think I'm going to keep that up because there's just sometimes where like,
I think moving forward, it shouldn't be. I think you should just like, that's the thing. It's the thing that makes it so
critical,
such a like valuable resource is that like I could use it on anything, but I only have the 7.
Yeah.
And so like, if I have to, if you can tell me like, oh, this one isn't worth it, they suddenly become less.
Yeah. I'm giving you like extra ones almost.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're right. I like that.
I think every like 3 times we want to use it and you tell us not to, we should mark 1, whether we use it or not. Like your ambient luck slowly burns away too.
Okay, so we're going to jump back in now. So last week, I kind of meant the ending to be more of a cutscene, but you guys are men of action. You didn't want to just sit there and watch while I painted you a picture. You guys kept jumping in. So we're just going to rewind a couple beats.
I will say in the future, if you do want us to not chime in, just like hold up both hands and be like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, no, that's a good idea. So that's something we'll comment right now. It's because we're not playing with maps and we're not playing with really detailed character sheets. We're not playing with like, I don't have to like look up spells between my turns. Because of all this, we're actually able to concentrate more on our webcams with each other. And if we were in person, we'd be able to have more connection than I found with Pathfinder that we've played in the past. Because I feel like I'm always so busy between turns that like I'm not overly paying attention to what the other players are doing enough sometimes. And I think that's a mark against Pathfinder and D&D in that type of game. Whereas this game, we're like looking at each other constantly. Like we barely look away, which is really nice. So I know we use hand signals with each other a lot that won't come across in the audio, but like we're holding up our hands to stop each other from talking. Like, so that's a really cool thing. Hand
below the ear is in character. Hand above the ear is out of character. It's like a lifesaver when we're being jackasses to Connor.
So it's like that. I feel like it's more personal than Pathfinder, and that's the nice thing about this game. Like it's more personal and it's more free in that sense. So we're gonna try to get better at our hand signals and communicate with each other to make this whole experience better for all of us. So we're gonna start this off as a cutscene, and I'll let you know when you guys can jump back in.
Cutscenes, just throw up 2 horseshoes.
So Deputy Birch Hobbs is coming around the back door of the sheriff's office. He's coming up an alleyway. He hears an argument between a man and a woman. As he approaches a street, he sees the Littlow couple fighting in the street. Alva has a lantern in her hand. The sheriff and the preacher's wife are still on the deck talking about upcoming choir practice and what to do next, what hymns he can start practicing on his own. And they're interrupted by the same argument. Everyone stops and all eyes are on this couple. It's nighttime. The street is still pretty active, though. People are going to the saloon or to get dinner at the restaurant. People are out and about. Marcus grabs Alva's hands. The deputy starts moving to intervene. She wrenches away from him, but in doing so, she drops the lantern. And they both stumble. The Littlows stumble away from each other. And suddenly, a big black, fiery horse erupts from the flames, separating the 2 Littlows. The horse lets out a large, angry cry as it comes forth.
I feel like with the developments we made about the horse's identity, I have to actively not jump out and say, "Whoa, Nella."
I gotta write that down.
Episode title. Birch is always wearing weighted gloves. Helps with the aim, but also they got the knuckles on them. And when he saw them wrench apart, his first instinct was to go and attack Marcus. But now that the horse has jumped out and kind of taken his focus, he's going to dash out into the street, and he's going to grab Alva.
Perfect. And that's how I picture this has worked out, because
I don't know why I started doing that in third person.
That's fine. We'll get back. Yeah. We'll get back in the swing of things. Yeah. So that's how I picture. I feel like the general store is across the street. Mm-hmm. So Marcus would be on the opposite side of the horse, and Alva is on your side of the horse. So that just feels like a natural thing for you to do, is go up and see her. The horse has its back now towards you guys as you're approaching Alva. Sherriff?
If you excuse me, Wilda, it seems I got a horse to take, and the Sheriff's going to bolt across the street.
Just before you're about to leave, Wilda starts to faint. The sight of this...
Criminy woman. Sheriff's going to pull some slick moves he's going to try and catch.
Act under pressure for me.
Oh, come on. Son of a bitch.
Brad said, Sheriff, if she dies, you're out of duty. No one else knows about your agreement.
Fortunately, as the Sheriff has been sitting for a while, it seems his legs gone to sleep. So as Wilda faints, the Sheriff actually plops forward onto the ground. So she goes that way, the Sheriff goes this way, and they both just kind of...
Oh no.
Call him too, call her fro.
I think her dress might be ruined now. I think she's going to hold you
responsible. Come on, don't do that to the minister's wife.
Oh, she cracks her.
How the hell did you do that to her?
So you guys are both on the ground, and you're a bit out of it. So you're now at Alva. What would you like to do, Deputy?
Oh, sorry. I lied. I would have made it to a 7, because I get to roll plus sharp instead of cool on act under pressure.
Because you're an expert. Yeah. Of course,
because I've
use
read
your
about
expert
the
skills. Yeah, you're trained for situations like this. You know about situations. Okay.
So.
So you grab her as she starts to faint. You only rolled a 7.
Rolled a 7. So you get to pick a worse outcome, a hard choice, or a price to pay.
So you don't get to be graceful about grabbing her.
Oh no.
She doesn't wreck her dress though, luckily, but she's kind of like falling on top of you a little bit, and you're under her. You've saved her head from like a bonking on the ground or anything. But
are you saying I'm in a compromising position with the minister's wife? Is that what you're implying?
No witness would fault you, but like you're tangled up in her dress a little bit, so like getting untangled from her will take a little bit of time. So you're going to be missing a couple beats possibly. So we'll get back to you though.
Oh dear.
So I'm gonna run out into the street and not bothering to hide that my burned arm is completely healed. I'm gonna use it to kind of get her around the shoulder and guide her without like pulling her into the alleyway. And then I'm gonna like help her like sit down kind of behind something so she doesn't see anything. I'm gonna take both of her, both my hands, like cup her face and look her dead in the eyes, and say, Miss Alva, if the next face you see coming through the mouth of this alley here is your husband's, I need you to promise me you're going to run out the back end and find me and the sheriff. And then I'm going to like let go of her face, get up, and run to find my horse to follow the sheriff.
All right, I like that a lot actually. So as you're rushing away with her, you get a sense that the horse is stamping around behind you, making a big kerfuffle, and like it's kicking up a bit of a dust cloud and everything. I feel like that's all you would notice as you're concentrating on getting Alva to safety. I feel like she's your main concern here. Sheriff, I feel like at this point, by the time you get through the alleyway, you've disentangled yourself from the preacher's wife. You've laid her head gently on your porch floor. When you look up, you see the nightmare running back and forth, and you barely through the dust cloud is kicked up. You do see Marcus Littlow jumping on a horse. What do you do?
Mr. Litlow's jumping on a horse.
Mr. Litlow's jumping on someone else's horse.
Someone else? So he's stealing.
down the street from you.
Can I
Possibly.
interject?
He's
I have a joke I need to interject with. I'm sorry. But you described him like leaving her after like a one night stand. You disentangle and you rest her head gently.
Listen.
And then
You
he
are
takes his
compromising
revolver.
me further.
He takes his revolver and shoots "Call Me" into the wall, like the lipstick.
He's gonna have like some one-on-one choir lessons with her coming up. So
Oh no, no!
My
Don't do
star,
this.
Sheriff.
Well, I'm gonna lose my stars. What's gonna happen? Oh,
The bass in your voice rumbles. It's one way to get out of choir practice.
there's gonna be singing. Don't you worry.
sorry, it's too good.
I had tea in my sinuses. You son of a bitch.
You guys are quick. All right, Sheriff. So Marcus Littlow is getting on a horse. It looks like he's about to tear out of town. What would you like to do?
We've connected the dots about the nightmare, correct? Or what we believe we have connected about the
You
nightmare.
believe you've connected the dots. Like, so what do you think this nightmare represents?
We mechanically did.
What do you?
Sorry,
yeah, let's.
would you?
We cashed in some of my points from the start of
And we did.
yeah from my connect the dots move, and
Well,
so
sure,
we
how far
know
back
that this
did
is
we run?
Nella. This was before the preacher's wife came over to us. That like you and I figured out like him approaching her with the knife, coupled with the fact that like the fires seem to be happening whenever it seems like he might have a chance or an opportunity to hurt her. That this is either Nella or Nella's like protective spirit working against Littlow, harming someone.
Yeah, and you guys, and the preacher's wife, she gave you the motive of why Marcus would want Alva dead. She explained that all of Alva's inherited wealth is tied up with Alva's mother in another town far away on her ranch. And if Alva were to disappear or die, Marcus would be able to take over that wealth. So you've learned about that motive.
All right.
Yeah, then because I spent 2 of my 3 points.
I think the sheriff, with all these in mind, he's gonna leap onto Anita Rise. He's gonna start after Marcus.
Okay.
He's a firm belief in what the nightmare is not going to do, and where it's going to go after.
Okay, so Marcus is tearing out of town as fast as he can go, with the nightmare in pursuit, and the sheriff also in pursuit. I feel like this is some sort of comedic moment, actually, with these three people. I feel like there'd be some sort of chase music, like dainty chase music going on right now. The piano quickly. So the chase is happening. So let's come back to the deputy then, in this case. So we know what the sheriff is going to be doing for the next little while. He's going to be chasing in the dead of the night a nightmare ashores.
Flaming horse.
Once I've like stepped away from Alva and turn around, I can see that the nightmare has taken off already, or is making to chase Marcus.
I feel like, when would you step away from her?
Because I can tell you what my thought was before you said he was running away, and tell me if there's any chance of it. So I was thinking I was going to, especially if I turned and saw that Marcus is leaving, I was going to try and get the nightmare's attention and like show that she is safe, and to like try to get it to focus on me and maybe like talk it down. I don't even know what that looks like, but let unhindered and unaccosted by flames, let the sheriff go after Marcus. And I'm looking at it, it's like I could manipulate, I could weird, I could cool, I could like act under pressure, or you could even count this as like helping him out in some way. I don't even know.
Part of the sheriff wanted to try and jump on the flaming horse.
But if it's already turned and started running, I don't think
there's no
works.
chance of you getting its attention. I think if you try, you see what it's doing. There's no moment where it like really looks at you at all. It's hell bent on chasing Marcus at this moment.
All right. At what point? So Tate Dorsey had already left the general store at this point.
Yeah,
but there are people on the
Tate
street.
had left first. You noticed him walk off. You went to go get dinner for the night, and then shortly after, the Littlows came out.
Okay, so if I if I can see anyone on the street, I want to call out to them. And I guess, are we making up an NPC I see on the street?
Sure.
Or is there,
I'll get you. Oh, I like this one. Ace.
Oh.
Ace. Do we have a last name?
Let's
Anderson. Ace Anderson.
Yeah, okay. Ace Anderson.
Double A.
I like Ace Anderson.
Yeah.
And Anderson's with 2 S's.
Yeah.
Anders' son.
Anderson. Okay. He's Slavic, I believe. But I'm gonna like both hands up as I'm like waving and heading towards where we've tied off Pickles and Anita, seeing the sheriff take off. I'm gonna be like, Ace, in the alley, Miss Alva needs some attention, and the lady Shelby by the sheriff's office. Can you attend to them? I gotta follow the sheriff. And I'm gonna hop on Pickles and take off.
All right, so yeah, you see Ace run over and he checks on him and Alva both check on Wilda, because I mean Alva is quite close with Wilda as well, right? Mm-hmm. So you see them both approach. So you're taking off after the sheriff as well, eh?
Yeah, no, I don't see why not.
Okay, so who do you think has a faster horse? I feel like Birch has a faster horse. Yours was a bit. Anita Rise is a bit older.
Anita Rise is about as old as the sheriff. Right?
Okay,
she's sturdy and she's reliable, but I think I could catch up to him, maybe not to Marcus.
Sheriff, I feel. Are you chasing the nightmare at this point?
I'm probably following the nightmare because
you can see the nightmare.
Sure, I can see the nightmare.
There's no.
I can't see Marcus.
That's my thought exactly. So, there is it's not particularly bright out. There is a bit of a moon, so it's not the only light. So you feel kind of comfortable to do what you're doing. Like you don't feel like it's that dangerous yet. You can't see Littlow ahead of the nightmare. Between the brightness of the nightmare, you can't see past it. You do notice. I'm assuming. Would you be yelling out at him, deputy?
To the sheriff, or
yeah, like when you're trying to catch up to him, would you be yelling out to him at all, or?
No, I think that if I'm riding that quickly, I'm like head down, like just doing it.
I don't think my hearing's going, so I probably hear another horse coming up.
Yeah, so you start.
Yeah, I also think
getting a sense that the deputy's behind you as you round. So the path kind of goes around like a bit of a rock area, and you lose the nightmare, the light in front of you. So you have to.
Can I go over the rocky area?
You guys will follow it as you round the bend, and when you think you should have it back in your sight, the nightmare's gone, and clouds have now come over the moon, and it's almost pitch black now. And you guys start to slow down your horses because you know, like, one wrong step and your horse is going down, and the night is like eerily quiet at this point.
Sheriff, I'm wheeling around to almost like turn back to town. Sheriff, do we go after Marcus or do we wait for him back in town? I reckon at some point he's going to either come back for Alva or go back to the ranch. Should we go to the ranch?
He's probably headed for where he's comfortable, so the ranch is probably where he'll be. We don't got to rush no more. That's where he's headed. I
think we maybe should rush. I reckon if he thinks he's found, or if he thinks that we have any inkling of what's going on, especially after the questions I was asking Miss Alva, she might have mentioned, and that might have caused the fight they were having, he might be gearing up to leave. And so I think if we can get to the ranch as soon as possible, he can't leave without us checking in first.
You probably got something there, Birch, but thinking not a lot of people in town are going to be thinking anything like that. They just saw him get chased out by a flaming horse.
Tell you what, I will head to the ranch. You circle back and make sure that fire hasn't gotten too out of hand, and I will keep eyes on him if he's at the ranch. And if he's not at the ranch, I'll wait for you there. I'll leave some sort of marking if he goes. We'll use the old system, the different symbols for north and south, and east and west, which way he went. Mark one of the fence posts by the entry to where those horses got let out. I don't know if Anita can make the trip that quickly, so I will rush on Pickle, and I will.
Listen, Anita don't go nowhere fast, but she'll get there.
She'll get there, but right now we gotta get there fast. So maybe you go back. I send Ace after the girls.
All right, Ace is a good man. He'll see them done right. Now you get your ass in gear and you catch up to Marcus. I'll I'll meet you there.
Cool. And then even though it's dark,
Cool.
sorry, I dropped character. Yes, sir. And even though it's dark, I want to push hard. Like, I know that it's dangerous. I want to get there. If I can get there before him, I want to be in the ranch house when he shows up, so he can't take his stuff and leave.
Give me an act under pressure.
Okay. This is dangerous because I have a -1 to cool, but I need to do it because I need to get there so he can't flake on us. I rolled a 6.
Oh.
So I got a 5.
Oh, goodbye,
Now,
Bill.
is there anything you could do to help me before I leave? Like, here is a torch, or fuck. I don't want him to die. I don't want to lose my horse's legs. I'm gonna be on foot for this. This
I mean,
suck.
I don't want to kill Pickle here. I kind of like Pickle, so let me just think about what I can do here.
You get lost.
Here's a thought. I get tossed, like we tumble. He's fine, but he's spooked. And so he runs back to town and I have to go on foot. Because if my plan was to be quick, an awful punishment is to be forced to go so much slower.
At that point, the sheriff is going to beat you there.
Okay, so the full rules for acting under pressure are very small, but it says on a miss, things go to hell.
Oh, no.
Hell's horses.
I'm not going to break Pickle's leg because I like Pickle, and this is our first adventure, and I would like... Is Pickle female?
Pickle is a girl, yeah.
Or male? Okay, I thought so. I would like her to make an appearance in at least a couple more mysteries. But she does throw a shoe. She starts limping a little bit. So your only option is to not ride her. You have to walk with her.
My thinking then is to send her back to town, but send her on her own is bad.
Well, I'm thinking they're probably on a certain path to the ranch. So you'll probably leave Pickle there, and you're going to cut across the hills, which would not doable on a horse, doable by a man on foot.
Yeah, and so I'll go as quick as we can without harming her and get to the ranch, and I'll tie her off near where I said I would leave the marking for the sheriff, just so we can see what happened.
Okay, so as we've talked before, the Littlow Ranch is kind of like in a depression type of area because there's a pond and stuff. So you crest a hill and you can see that the moon is out now again. Pickle's still hobbling along. You're going easy on her. I know. When you see the ranch, there's no lights on whatsoever. And the moon hits it in such a way that you don't think that you see a horse stabled out in front. So I assume, do you want to approach the house? What do you want to do?
I'm going to, if I can, thinking about it now, I'm going to go and see if I can. My dilemma is I don't want to tie up Pickles somewhere where he'll see her.
I'm sure you can safely walk back a little bit, tie her off in some brush on the side. She's a pretty sorry horse. She can take care of herself. Yeah. So you can leave her there and then approach the house quietly, I think. Yeah.
I'll leave her somewhere where she's not to be noticed, so he can't use that same tactic. Can I look around and make sure, I don't see another horse at the ranch, but while I'm looking for somewhere to tie Pickles off, I don't see his horse anywhere. He didn't do the same thing?
No. Roll for read a bad situation for me.
Okay. That is sharp. I'm good at sharp. Snake eyes. So that is actually, I forgot to mark the last one. That's 2 experience today.
Yeah, that's good.
I'm 1 away from a level, which is not great. I got snake eyes +2, so 4. And so the moon comes or goes away again or something.
So I can't really
burst into
answer.
Flames.
Sorry. So ask your questions again that you were going to ask for.
When I go to find a secret spot to tie Pickle up, do I see any evidence of Marcus doing the same to hide his tracks by tying his horse away from the ranch house?
Where you are, it's too dark to really see too much detail. You're kind of in the brush and there's too much shade being thrown, blocks out too much moonlight. So you have a real hard time knowing if anyone was around this area.
Fair.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to head as quickly as I can on foot up to the ranch house.
Let's jump back to the sheriff now. So you come back into town. I would assume a trot You kind of be in a bit of a hurry.
Moseying along as fast as Anita will move at a pace.
And so you can see like the lamp fire has been handled. It's out. There wasn't a ton of oils. It didn't hit anything flammable. It was in the middle of this dusty road. So there's no issues there whatsoever. As you're coming back into town, Ace comes out of the kettled crook and flags you down. And it's like, Sherriff, you guys tore if you're so quick. I helped Alva and Wilda. She's fine. She bonked her head a little bit, but she's okay. They're back at the preacher's house if you need to talk to them. What was that thing?
Now, Ace, that's a good question. To these old eyes, it looked like a horse on fire. But, hell, you know what the trick of the light can do. Dark, who knows? You had a drink?
Yeah, he's a bit of a drinker, he is.
Well, I know you, and let me tell you a little secret, Ace. I've had one or two myself this evening, so I'm not going to trust what I saw, and neither should you. You saw a big black horse reflecting that lamplight all shining like off that coat. That's all. And chase it out of town is no worries.
Okay. Is Marcus okay? Like, he tore up here real quick, too.
Now, Birch is checking up on him. Have no fear. I'm just going to go check on the ladies. Thank you again for doing them a solid.
All right. He just tips his hat at you and says, all right, Sheriff, have yourself a good night.
Toss the man
he walks back into the kettle.
Couple bucks and thanks kind of thing.
Oh, cool. Yeah, he takes it kindly, tips his hat at you again, and marches back in to see Gertie about some company.
Ooh. Oh, Gertie offers company, does she?
There's a whole second floor full of ladies.
What?
Yeah.
Did you not hear me about choir practice? Someone's going to be singing. All right, so I'm going to make my way over to the minister's place. Check on things.
As you're walking up to the door, are preachers? They're not called fathers. That's Catholics, right?
It's all kind of the same. You
could call him father, or you could just minister, or
yeah. So Minister Miles Shelby opens the door. He kind of saw you coming through his window as you're walking up to the house, up to his door. And, evening there, Sheriff. Quite the kerfuffle we've had this night. Come in. We have some tea going in the parlor. He brings you in, and Alva's sitting down. She's shakingly holding like jittery cup of tea on a saucer, and you see Wilda come in with some cold sandwiches as well. And Wilda greets you, and Alva doesn't look up from her tea. She's just like looking at her tea and shaking. You can see it spilling out a little bit.
So first, I'm not going to acknowledge Alva, but not in like a disrespectful way. I'm going to ignore that she's jittery. I assume she's okay and that she's not a spook. I'm just going to try and provide like a solid foundation sort of thing. I'm just going to bring the atmosphere to a calm spot. Wilda, how's your head? You took a bit of a fall there.
I forget Wilda's voice, but
it was
true-ish.
Matronly and mean.
Like, true-ish. That's what I thought of.
Choir practice, won't we?
Not that bad.
I know.
I think I was trying to channel the Wicked Witch of the West. I just watched Wizard of Oz with Charlotte shortly before that. Great movie, by the way. Let me just 1 second.
Yeah,
Well, Sheriff. I hear you. I hear you caught me just in the nick of time. So I thank you kindly for your gallant ways. I'm doing just fine. I'm more worried about Miss Alva here.
Miss Alva? All right, let me sit down and have a bit of a talk with her. So I assume that this is like a living room kind of area.
Yeah. So Wilda puts down
comfy chairs.
Yeah. There's she's on a couch, like a small couch. There's a couple like chairs. They're not like comfy chairs. They're wooden with some cushion, but they're
fancy chairs.
They're old style, right?
In my head, I figured because the minister could be one of the wealthier people in town, not like over the top, but enough to have like padded chairs, such like that.
Yeah, so I feel like what it is like there'd probably be like a coffee table in front of a fireplace, and then there's like two chairs and then like a small couch, and she's at the couch. She doesn't look up. There's a seat next to her. Wilda the minister says he's going to leave you guys alone. Let you talk with her.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes off in another room, and Wilden makes it look like she's busy at like the bar behind you, but she's not really doing anything. She's just being she's just snooping right now on you guys. So she's not really leaving you around. Yeah, she's not really leaving you guys alone, but pretending to leave you alone.
Yeah. I'm gonna sit in the chair beside the couch, not beside her. I don't want to pressure.
So you're on the chair closest to her?
Yeah. So I figure she's on one side of the couch. I'm going to take the chair beside that.
Yeah, so she's actually turned away from you a little bit. She still hasn't like looked at you. She's just looking at her tea.
That's fine. But being the sheriff, and I figure I'm an older gentleman, I'm going to have, big kind of calloused hands. But she's going to kind of gently reach out for the saucer.
Slap her. Sorry.
It was needed.
Pull yourself together.
And I'm just going to kind of grab the saucer with one hand and just kind of like, with my other hand, just kind of like cover both of hers. Like just kind of like just below the wrist, probably, just so I can get both.
Yeah, she lets you take the saucer. And
I'm going to just kind of put it down. I'm just going to kind of grab both of her hands at that point and be like, Helva, would you mind telling me what you and Marcus were talking about?
She takes it like a second to like compose herself a little bit, like mentally. Not like physically at all, but just like mentally, you can kind of see she's like trying to brace herself for this conversation. Sheriff, I told Marcus that I was going home to my mother and that I didn't want him to come, and he needed to figure out his business here, and he didn't want me to leave. And when I pressed the matter and I tried to leave, you saw what happened out there.
I can see some things I don't necessarily hear all. Did you fear for your life?
Marcus wasn't.
Did you fear harm?
Marcus wasn't going to let me leave, and I don't know what he was capable of in that moment. I've never seen that look in my husband's eyes. I think the deputy was right about him.
Now let's not jump to any conclusions, Miss Alva. Marcus has been a part of the community for a long time, I think.
Yes,
at least 5 years anyway, right?
He's been part of like Tombstone since it was founded, basically.
So I just want to make sure I have all my chickens in a row, if you will, before lay down any kind of accusations. Did he have a weapon of any kind?
He always has his knife on him, and I know he has a revolver. I don't know if he had it. I don't know if he had it with him. And he does have hunting rifles as well, but he had his knife on him when we were arguing.
He didn't pull his knife though at you? You don't.
No, he grabbed my arm, and then the lantern smashed, and you saw what happened.
May I see your arm?
Like her dress that comes down to her wrists is a bit ripped on the arm that he grabbed her. So he grabbed her a bit forcefully.
Okay. Yeah, I think the sheriff at that point, like, very gently would, not pulling at the dress or anything, but he look at the arm. Yeah, the way I look damage.
The way I see you did this is you had both her hands in your hands. I feel like you kind of just like upturned her wrists with your hands, saw the damage to her dress, and they kind of just like folded her hands back together and kind of like pushed her hands back towards herself.
I'm doing the uncle and favorite niece kind of thing.
Yeah. That's how I view this as well.
Yeah, when the way you described that picture, that you like your fingers are at her wrists and you're kind of like holding her hand steady in like the prayer position, and then when you turned her wrists out,
not like the prayer position, just like my hand is just supporting her.
Yeah,
I want her to feel that hand is a safe spot.
Yeah, kind of like you're cupping her hands. I feel like you just kind of like just like
I'm not.
She lets you rotate to see, and then you're like, yeah, I see what I see, and you presented it back to her.
Yeah, and I'm not trapping her in any way.
Yeah.
Especially after her recent
you can tell too that she's settling down a little bit with you acting like this way with her.
Now, Miss Alvin, your time with Marcus, remember any strange folk come by that you don't see often? Anything that agitated Marcus after they left?
What are you trying to find out here?
I believe we heard rumors of. Oh no, that might have been one of the questions that Liam asked.
Nope.
Marcus got into debt.
We know about his debt from a direct question I asked him. I'm getting to that photo of my... Yeah.
He owes money to Merle Litzkowski, who's like a kingpin type guy in the city south of you guys, Mayhew. So he does, but we've already covered Alva doesn't know anything about that side of the business.
So I think at this point it's just kind of a bit of 20 questions. I'm not expecting answers anymore. More just to get her talking and calming her down. I do have one question that I think would be a good answer to get. Now, Miss Alva, does Marcus have a spot he likes to go to when he needs to calm himself, or he just wants to be alone for a bit that you know of?
The old jerkin hole down by the pond.
Listen, everyone knows about the jerkin hole.
There's no spot that Marcus goes to, but there's a spot he might go to now. I don't know how much you know of Marcus's history here in Tombstone, but like our house isn't his first house. He had another cabin in the woods that him and Nella lived in.
So
as far as I know, it's abandoned ever since he built our house. I don't think he's ever been back there. I've certainly never been there.
Now, would you be able to point an old man like me in the correct direction that may end up?
I believe it's on the northwest side of our property. So I'm not sure if you guys remember the map, but on the northwest side is like a ridge with some trees and stuff. So she thinks it's in there somewhere. An old cabin is tucked away.
Now, Miss Alva, thank you very much. Sorry about the happenings that you've been through this evening.
Now, Sheriff, Marcus hasn't done anything wrong, right? Like,
not as of yet. He's got some questions to answer.
1 second. Liam had the hardest eye roll there when I said what Alva said. That was fantastic.
I looked her in the eyes and said, like, do you have any reason to believe he might cause you harm? And then she went, well, he had a knife. And I went, and you think he might have been harming? She's like, no. It's like, oh.
Listen, even the sheriff, like, knows that Marcus has done some fucking shady shit. But he's not going to tell his shook-ass young wife that he is fucked up. Now, Miss Alva, I'm going to ask that you won't either stay here with the lovely minister and Wilda, looking over my shoulder.
she
looks her know
like
that I know she's here.
Looks over her shoulder at you and eyes you a little bit.
Seductively.
Or if you're more comfortable, I'll talk to Gertie over at the Kettle Crook and we'll get you a room.
Wilda comes over at that. It's like, Sheriff, she'll stay here tonight. Don't worry. She can stay here as long as she wants. Isn't that right, Miss Alva? And Alva, like, yes, Miss Wilda, yes. I'll stay here tonight, Sheriff.
All right, perfect. Ladies, have a good evening. I gotta go find my horse and my deputy.
Wilda's in on it.
The true murderer is Wilda.
Her and Marcus are secretly a couple.
Ew.
I legitimately thought the sheriff was going to fight back on that with some, like, I think enough people have told her where she needs to be today, man, kind of thing.
That's why I gave the option.
Yeah.
But Miss Wilda is the minister's wife.
And they're friends too, right? Like, they would do church things together. They would do church choir. Like, they are social friends.
Choir practice.
No.
Have you ever noticed that choir practice has the same number of syllables as cunnilingus?
I don't know if I'm going to cut that or not. I can't wait to re-listen. I don't know if that is
true.
Listen, I've already made 2 sexual innuendos about the minister's wife.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I think at this point we are safe to jump back to the deputy who's about to enter the Littlow ranch house.
Yeah. I am gonna have my revolvers on my hip, and I have that shotgun out and like braced on my arm, like, so I still have a free hand in case I need to like quickly grab something. But I'm using it to like steady, like when people have a flashlight and a rifle or anything like that. But obviously I have no source of light, and so I'm going to just enter the dark homestead and just take a listen.
All right, so you notice as you approach the front door that it is firmly closed. It's not ajar or anything like that, so you have to use one of your hands, slowly open the door. As you are opening the door, it starts to creak just a little bit. and you stop. And I assume you would start listening to see if there's any movements or reactions to that creak.
Mm-hmm. I think I would like push down on the, like put my weight on the door in a way to like force that creak a little more. Like make it a clear, like someone is here. What is your reaction? And then step back from the door and listen.
Oh, I like that. I like to step back. I feel like if someone was listening, they wouldn't expect that. I like that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Dead silence still.
I start shooting.
Bullets don't matter in this game.
I'm gonna take like a full like minute, just like eyes closed and listen. Like really take in the fact that there's no noise inside the house. Like it's almost like this, with your eyes closed, it would look like this like vacuum with all the ambient noise of like the wildlife and the horses around it, and just like really understand, like, I don't think he's in there. And I'm going to enter after that. Like once I'm like, sure.
Yeah. I think the only thing you hear is like the hoot of an owl. There's nothing in the house.
And his office was separate, right? It wasn't in the house?
It's in the house. It's okay. Close to the front door, actually. It's like just off the front door.
I'm going to go into the house, and if I can find a lantern, I'm going to light it.
Are you going into his office?
Yeah,
there's actually a lantern. You can see the moonlight's coming in through his office window, and you can see that there's a lantern there, and you're able to light it from the match that you have.
Yeah, and I'm going to just, like, knowing that I'm just going to wait for the sheriff. I don't think I can pursue any further. I'm just going to, probably a little outside of what the sheriff would be comfortable with, I'm going to just start going through his stuff.
Sure.
I'm looking into, like, how bad this debt is, because I'm now, like, that's what in my mind is the motivator.
So you can tell that the ranch itself is almost profitable. He hasn't made a ton of money, but you find that basically the entire house, it was funded by a loan from Merle Wachowski. And you can tell, like, even if he had sold all those horses, he wouldn't have been able to repay the entire loan. And from what you can tell, the interest on the loan is kind of steep. So he wasn't in a great position. Even if he managed to sell those horses, he wasn't in a great position.
Now, remind me, he took this loan after Nella left.
Yeah.
Quote unquote left or died or what have you. Okay, so I'm torn. I want to see if he's kept any record of any, like, if he made any sort of claim for Nella's like a life insurance policy or something like that. I don't think that's.
She doesn't. I'm not sure if life insurance existed back then. I have no idea.
Yeah.
I haven't looked into that.
I was trying to think if there was,
in this case, there's no life insurance he got for Nella.
I want to see if I can find somewhere he might have hidden something, like a safe. I want to see, because the thing that we don't have, we have proof Virgil's dead. We don't have proof that Nella's dead. And if I can find, like, her wedding ring, something that she would have taken with her maybe, or like some personal effect that maybe he kept, not like trophy, but just as like, he has this.
So
she had a family watch.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you now, if you search this place from top to bottom, you will not find anything like that here.
Because that's to Birch, to me, that is the one thing I'm convinced of it, but I know the sheriff will want a proof that Nella's dead to, like, fully put this together. And if there is something I could do about that, like find a journal of his, I'll spend one of these, my last connect the dots, because I think that is the last point to, like, put him away. Because otherwise, if I can't prove to the sheriff that I'm right, I think Birch is gonna want to kill this guy.
So I'm gonna flat out tell you that it's actually strange that there is no evidence of Nella whatsoever in this house. That's strange to you. Like, there's no pictures, whatever jewelry or anything you do find, you think it belongs to Alva. You have no reason to believe it's not like there's anything in his office. There's nothing in his safe.
Mm-hmm.
There's no pictures or anything. There's not even a marriage certificate or anything like that for them. I'm not even sure if they would have used marriage certificates back then, but we're going to go with that. There's like evidence of or feeling of Nella in this house. That's what you're.
Then could I intuit instead to spend this point that maybe he had another home and potentially meet the sheriff somewhere else?
Yeah, exactly. Because
do you want me to wait for?
You're. I feel like you would realize, wow, he just built his house not long ago. So where did he and Nella live? Because you know that he built his house with the Merlikowski money that was lent to him not long ago. So where did he live before this?
Okay, then.
Yes, Sheriff.
I think because you've searched the house, I think rather thoroughly at this point. I think if timing works out, we'll leave this up to the keeper to say. But by the time you come to this thought, the sheriff has found your horse outside and he's just waiting out front.
Yeah, I think it makes sense because the time I lost walking would give you the time for the conversation and then you could catch up. And so I imagine I'm coming outside with like empty-handed lantern, like ready to be snuffed. And I see you kind of cresting the hill up where I tied off Pickle. And I'm going to like gesture in front of the lantern to make sure you can see it. And then I'm going to snuff it out and start walking over to you. Yeah. So we'll meet at like the pen where we've put the couple horses back.
As I've crested the rise, I see that Pickle is in a not the best of ways. And so I see that, or I presume that my deputy has not been here for the amount of time that he probably wished he had been. And seeing him down the way, I'm going to presume that Mr. Littlow is also not present on the property. Seeing that Pickle is injured, I'll probably get off Anita, just kind of be walking both the horses down the rise. And as I get up to the deputy, I'm like, boy, what you do to your horse?
You knew the moon weren't out.
And that's why you don't fucking gallop nowhere on no goddamn horse in the middle of the damn night.
At this point, I'm going to take...
You could have killed her.
I'm going to take...
I don't give a rat's ass about you. Pickle don't deserve that. You apologize to your horse.
At that point, I've already taken the reins of Pickle from the sheriff, and I'm like patting her on the side and like share a deep look and just be like, Sheriff, help me get her saddle off.
Apologize to your horse.
You know I already did, and I tie her off.
I want to see it. You're just mouthing words right now. I want to hear it.
This is performative. No, sheriff. It was wordless.
I'm just staring.
Pickle, I'm sorry I endangered you.
That's right. All right. Now, well, you always didn't find anything in the house. Now it's done. No. It's in the past. I'm
like de-saddling Pickle, and I'm going to take one of the ranch horses.
All the horses at the ranch are gone at this point, right?
I thought we brought some back.
Oh, like those are what they rode back with, and then the Witwicky brothers took the others. So there's no horses left on the ranch, though. The ranch is pretty much lifeless at this point.
Damn.
Any of the animals in the barn are all dead from the fire. It's like, so you're on foot at the moment.
I call this an ignorance of my own making, but is there a way I can re-shoe her, that won't be terribly difficult?
Any tools like that would have been in the barn. So like you're...
Okay, then I am going to get all my stuff, and as I'm like climbing up behind the sheriff on Anita, I'm going to fill him in about like, there's absolutely no...
Fool, what the hell you think you're doing? Anita can't carry two people. Get your ass off this horse.
We got to make, hey, Sheriff, if as far as I can tell, it went through everything in his office. There is not only not proof that Anita died, there is no proof that she was ever alive in this house. I think he might be somewhere else. I think he might be somewhere where maybe they lived before. Do you know where he lived when Nella was still around?
Shoot, look at you putting two together. I do know. Nella or Anita Rice ain't gonna move fast with two people. Get off.
She's gonna move faster than me.
Anything moves faster than you and your snail's pace. Now get off the damn horse.
All right,
I'm both gonna get off the horse.
We're gonna go on foot. All right,
we're gonna go on foot.
No, I think you should ride. You should ride, because if we have to take him and bring him back forcibly, we'll want to put him over a horse, and then I can ride his horse. You can carry him.
I think we'll bring Anita.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's really feasible for one person to ride. It'd be quieter if we both walk with the horse.
I'd argue that means that there is an extra set of footsteps. The horse is going to make the noise the horse makes.
True. Okay, fine. Yeah. The sheriff's going to stay on the horse, and then he's going to make you walk.
That's fair. I did this to myself. Everything went to hell.
Indeed. Now, while you was off playing in the dark and messing up your poor horse's leg, I went back to town, talked to Miss Elva, and I found out that there's another piece of property just off to the northwest.
Well, look at that.
It might be where this evidence of Nella you're looking for might be.
Now, I personally want to make sure that there's some we can tell, because Sheriff, I don't know if you feel the same way, but I'm convinced that Nella passed under some circumstance, and this nightmare, this beast is her in some capacity. Do you reckon we're going to find her body at this old home, or just maybe something to give proof to everybody else? Like,
I don't know what my mind thinks right now. I know there's strong evidence of what you are suggesting, that Nella's now a flaming horse. Who knows? But I can tell you that Marcus is up to some funny business, and we need to find out what that is.
Definitely, Sheriff. Let's get ahead into this property.
All right, so you two leave the Littlow ranch proper. You walk past the smoldering barn. I'm sure there's still parts of it that are kind of hot to the touch. You start walking along. We're starting to get a bit later in the day. It's a bit of a trek to get through the property with just one horse. You can see the woods where your destination lies ahead of you. The hill starts to loom in front of you. You slowly pick your way up the hill. As you get to the top, you're greeted by the foreboding woods. The sun is casting long shadows right now this early in the morning. You make your way quietly. As you're starting to get deeper and deeper into the woods, you hear the braying of a horse ahead of you. You can kind of peek through the woods and bushes, and you see that there's a dark structure ahead of you and a horse tied up in front of it. Sheriff, you recognize it as the horse that Marcus Littlow tore out of town on. What would you like to do?
Birch, you want to keep Marcus around, right? I think with your young legs, you might be able to get that horse.
Liam, I'm not sure what you're asking.
I'm asking you to steal a horse.
Yeah, I figured we were going to confront him here and then deal with that now.
We will. I think...
Take the horse a little bit away so he can't run off on us?
What I'm implying is as we go up, you make sure you get to the horse and get the horse.
Oh, yeah.
So that it's under our...
What I was actually thinking is I might sneak up, take it, and tie it a few yards out into the woods so that if he tries to bolt on us, he has to go and find it before... Because I figure we're confronting him in this cabin. Like,
if we can make it into the cabin, yes.
Yeah.
Birch, here, you take my revolver and you pass me your gun. But he comes out, I'll blast him from the top of Nella. I
have the shotgun and a revolver right now, sir. I'm well equipped. I'll hand you the shotgun. So
I figure, assuming there's no reaction from the house, I'll stop on Anita. I don't know what the sheriff would know to be an accurate range for the shotgun, and just have it kind of like over one arm, balanced, kind of aimed at the front door area.
So you're covering the door while he approaches to
just kind of covering the deputies.
Are we both? Yeah, we've both described what I've now realized is skeet shooting form for a shotgun.
Well,
we're rifle hunters, I think. But I think while he's got the door covered, I'm gonna walk up and tell me if you need to roll for this. I'm going to untie the horse and kind of quickly walk it away as quietly as I can.
I think this is an act under pressure roll.
Okay. Cool is -1.
Mm-hmm. Do you have anything for ability wise that helps you with that? I've read about this before, which lets you do act under pressure as a sharp.
No, mine are all based on the mystery end of it. It's all the puzzle pieces.
Mm-hmm.
My suspicious mind, I know if someone's lying. Net friends, I can ask questions of people who aren't here and connect the dots.
For Birch, I feel like his weakest part is the action sequences, whereas he's really good at putting everything together. But when it comes to stuff like this,
in a different setup, I'd be Oracle. I wouldn't leave. You guys would bring me the info you get, and I would then go check out places after and help piece it all together. But when it's just the two of us, I got to do some stuff. Mm-hmm. Is there anything Taylor can do to help me?
Oh, for fuck's sakes.
No, never mind. I got a 5. I can't be helped. How can you get kicked by a fucking horse? Well, that's... before you tell me what happens, that is my 6th experience.
Oh, wow. So you level up.
You beat me. You beat me to leveling up.
I got 3 in one episode. I think it's the record.
Do you level up right away in this? I've never really dealt with that
I don't
before.
know. Let's find out before we move forward.
You fill up all 5 experience boxes, you level up.
Yeah.
In my notes, it is level up. Oops.
I think I have... Oh, I forgot to mark my experience. I think I have 2 marks.
I think you are 1 away from a level up, if my math was right. I remember you had a couple fuck-ups after the really good sword fighting.
I had a couple of it. I think it was that.
Or maybe you,
I'll do
had
3.
3.
I'll do 3.
Yeah.
I'll do 3.
Oh, no. I thought you had more than you did, and you told me you were down 2. Okay, so... Do you want me to double check the rules on leveling up? I got the manual on my phone.
It just says, this page says you level up. When you filled all 5 experience boxes, you level up.
Yeah, so
that's all it says.
You pick one improvement from that list that you have there on your page under level up. So you can improve some of your stats. You can take another flake move. You get a haven.
Take a move from another playbook.
You could take another option of your haven, take a move from another playbook, take a move from yeah, so just choose any of those and we'll keep moving on.
Okay, yeah, so let's play that out then, and I will figure that out once it's relevant.
Well, it could be relevant. It could change your whole role.
So I can technically, I can add cool, which would put me at 0, which might be like the boring option I should do, because I've rolled 2 different 6s on cool, I think, where that ended up fucking me as a 5.
Well, you could take, I've read about this sort of thing, and that changes your cool rolls to a sharp roll.
I should do that, because I can take one of your moves from your thing, right?
Which makes sense. I feel like you've learned a thing or two from the sheriff.
Yeah. So I'm going, and you can only do each of these once.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, so you can only take 2 moves from other playbooks. So that's one of them.
I've read about these sort of things.
I think hanging around me, you've read a thing or 2.
It's called I've Read About?
I've read about this sort of thing. Roll plus sharp instead of plus cool when you act under pressure.
That is super handy, and I think it's fitting.
I can't believe you almost got fucking hoofed by a horse. You are clumsy as shit.
So, I think how this happens is I think you're approaching this horse, and you don't notice when you're approaching it from behind, but it was kind of sleeping when you were approaching it. And I feel like you put a hand on its hindquarters, what you think is to settle it down, but you actually startled it awake. And it moves away from you, and it lets out like a loud sound as you startle it awake.
Okay.
And then suddenly, you hear someone from inside yell, "Who goes there?" And then a shotgun blast tears through the front door. And barely misses you.
Okay.
And I feel like you drop to the ground and try roll away from this horse as fast as you can. So no harm or anything comes to you, but Marcus now knows you guys are outside and this horse is still where it's meant to be.
Mr. Littlow, it's the sheriff. I'm going to call out to the house.
Sheriff, this isn't none of your business. Get out of here.
Oh, it's my business when you're blasting through doors with a goddamn gun.
At the deputy.
If you boys just leave me alone, no harm will come to you. And you can hear him fumbling around with
Mr. Littlow, you threatening me.
Damn right I'm threatening you. Get off my land.
Can I try to, using the horse's cover, crawl around, see if there's a back door to this place? Because now I've read about these sort of things, these tactical maneuvers, and maybe I can
read a bad situation
back
for
door.
me.
For sure. That is plus sharp. That is my only strong suit. That is a 7.
Okay, so you can ask one of those following questions of me. So, what's my best way in? What's my best way out? Are there any changes you haven't noticed?
I think
best way in is your question.
I think I want to say what the best way out is. I guess it's kind of the same question. Is there a way he could get out that we don't know yet?
From your vantage point, you can see that there's a front door and there's just one window off to the
One-story building?
It's one-story let's talk about the cabin for a second. It's a one-story cabin. The roof is in bad repair. It looks like it was made of bark, and a lot of it's starting to wear away. The sides are wood, and it's starting to show its age. This place hasn't seen love or attention for a long time. There is a chimney on the western side. The door is towards the western side with a window just to the left of it. Sherriff, you get the idea that you keep seeing Marcus kind of poke his head up a little bit through the edge of the window, and you can kind of see his rifle butt or his shotgun butt a little bit. So he's covering the door pretty closely.
Mr. Littlow, no one's been hurt yet. You come on out, put down your gun. We just gotta talk. That's all.
At this point, I think Hobbs is pretty safe that he thinks he can get around that horse in a crouch and get around through the east side of the building to see what's on the back of it.
Perfect. I will do that.
So as you come around the back side, you do notice that there's another door in the back and a couple more windows. So that's your best way.
Any of the windows open?
No, they're all shut.
Okay.
Would you say this is a role to manipulate someone?
You want him to give up?
I'm asking him to...
I don't think you could...
I want him to come out and put down his gun.
I'm not going to let you roll and manipulate someone for this.
No.
No.
All right. Damn.
He seems unmanipulatable.
You know what? Actually, maybe... You know what?
All I want to do is talk.
Yeah, give me a roll. Yeah. I'm going to let you do it.
All right. Oh, no. Charm? Oh, I have a plus to charm. Okay. All right. So I rolled a 7. I have a +1 for an 8.
Can I roll to help him out? To say, like, to chime in?
Yeah.
Because then that can take us to a 9, which is... 10 is...
Yeah, 10's.
Doesn't help it.
No.
10's.
And I'm being stealthy, so I guess that makes sense.
So it says that they'll do it.
Yeah, so you wanted to talk with him?
But I want him to come out, put down his gun so we can talk.
Sheriff, you put down your guns and you can come in here and we'll talk, but leave that deputy outside.
All right, Mr. Littlow. Gonna put down... I'm gonna approach the building. Is that all right?
Yeah. Your hands up there, Sheriff.
Yeah. Well, like I got the aforementioned weapons pointed up in my arms, and as I get up to the front porch, like as I'm walking up, I'll be making eye contact with the deputy.
I'm already on the back. I think as I hear you...
I thought you were around one side and you saw the back.
No,
yeah.
You can't see where he is. Like he's around.
Yeah.
I can't see him. Okay.
I'm around the back end of the house because you're on the west side. I'm on the east
think
side.
of the house as like a big rectangle. So you're on like one corner and he's around the other side. Like
okay.
You're
I didn't know if he'd gone out of my sight.
Yeah, completely
so
out of your
he's
sight.
out of my sight. Okay.
But hearing that you said you're approaching the building, I'm going to wait till there's like enough, like maybe vocalization and try the back door.
I'm going to approach just before the porch, put down both the guns, put them down. Mr. Littlow, guns are down. You can come inside now, all right?
He like flips a latch on the door and it creaks open a little bit.
Can I?
You can see through the shotgun blasts that he's moving away.
Can you guarantee me that gun's unloaded? I don't feel like getting my head blown off.
You're safe, Sheriff. Don't you worry. Birch?
After hearing that he said that he wants the sheriff to come inside, can I have been waiting for him to open the door to try to open the other door to like mask the sound?
Yeah, and that door opens a little bit so you can get it open a crack. And you can see through the crack. So the two doors are kitty corner from each other.
Yeah, no, I've been picturing, that I'm like looking at the back of him while he opens the door, and I want to like slide into the house as quietly as I can while he's letting the sheriff in.
It's pretty dark in there, so I'm going to let you do that. I'm going to let you slide in. So Marcus has his back to you, and you can see he's like backing up towards you, shotgun pointing at the door, and you've seen him unlatch it, and he's backing up towards you at this point. So Sheriff?
So, gonna open the door, arms kind of low at my hips, but like non-threatening.
Do you still have your sword on you?
I imagine yes.
Hold on. I forget what my gear is. No, I don't think so, but I do believe I still have
Your dagger?
my trusted dagger.
I just want to know what we're dealing with here.
Why wouldn't you bring the sword? I guess we left in a hurry.
We left in a hurry.
Yeah.
Oh, your sword's back at home. You don't walk around with it much?
Oh,
I think it's probably on Anita.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
And it's obviously a It's a big weapon. I'm trying to be non-threatening.
Yeah, so you walk in. You do see Hobbs behind him.
I have my revolver, like not fully outstretched, but pointed at the back of Marcus's head. As he,
and just
like,
as
walks
if I'm
towards
like
me.
scanning the room, I don't stop. Just note that he's there, and then just lock onto Mr. Littlow.
I'm looking at you, like you just see my eyes in the dark and like the glint of the revolver, and I'm like watching you, and you can see I've got it trained on him.
And as I said, hands kind of non-threatening, low at my hips, hands up.
Sheriff, I don't think you should be here. I think you should leave. There's no reason for you. I haven't done anything. You should leave.
Now, Mr. Littlow, I saw you tearing out of town with what these old eyes do believe was a flaming horse hot on your tail.
That's not illegal.
Not illegal. I don't know what realm that's in, but it is mighty strange.
This doesn't concern you. I think you should leave.
I mean, it comes to the welfare of the citizens. Everything concerns the sheriff. You're a citizen of this town.
Yeah, but Sheriff, I think you're in way over your head here. You should leave.
Now, from where I'm standing, I seem pretty calm, cool, and collected. You seem a little frazzled. You know something about this horse? That'd be another manipulate? Or...
Also, is he still pointing the shotgun at the sheriff?
Yeah, but you can tell like he's not like concentrating hard on it.
It's like lowered, but yeah.
He's got it up, but like he's like
fingers off the trigger.
I don't know, the way he's moving his head, he's not like looking at the sheriff all the time. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm not sure what would want to say to that.
Yeah, I'm just kind of asking him a question.
So you want to ask him a question?
Yeah, does he know something about this horse?
Yeah, give me a manipulate someone for that.
That's it's going to be a total of 9.
Okay.
I don't know what we can give and take.
Yeah,
right
exactly. I don't know what the give and take here
I don't even know if that's the correct thing. Maybe an investigative mystery, you think?
I think maybe just asking about the horse is the wrong question. I think maybe ask him something along the lines of like, do you know why the horse is after you? Not like, what do you know about it? But it's like, do you know why it's after you? To let him know that you think it's after him, and like maybe get him talking about like what he's done wrong or what it could be targeted for. Because then he seems, like Eric said, he seems a little like unfocused. He might ramble. He might say something about like Nella, and that'll give us our like line of questioning. While you're thinking, Taylor, is it cool if I ask a mechanics question?
Mm-hmm.
So if I see my position cannot stay where it is for too long, I reckon. And so if I was going to, I want to like, my main thing is because the sheriff is here, it is not kill this man. It is get him to tell us what's going on. And so I don't think that's going to happen while he has a gun. So if I used like, would I be able to disarm him? Would it be about like kicking ass and the risk? Like, is there any instance where I try to disarm him and the downside is like he shoots the sheriff?
I think that's still act under pressure.
Yeah.
So because
if you don't roll with 10.
So let's just try.
I picture 3 ways I could do it.
That's the thing.
I make myself
It depends
known.
about how we go about it on what role we're going to do. So, I mean, like if things go to shit, someone could get shot here. So let's just play it out. So he's ask your question, Taylor. Do you have your question figured out?
Yeah.
All right. Marcus, this isn't the first time that horse has appeared in your vicinity. It seems to be hunting you. What's been going on?
Sheriff, I don't think it's hunting me. I just think it means to destroy my life. I'm in over my head here. I don't know what to do.
Yeah, that's why you
need to leave, Sheriff. And like he steadies the gun at the sheriff at this point.
When he says I'm in over my head and raises the gun, I'm gonna like audibly click the hammer on the revolver and say, "Speaking ahead, you better raise your hands above yours right now."
And he kind of like glances over his head a little bit and says, "Birch, Hobbs, did you get the drop on me?"
I most certainly did, Mr. Littlow.
Okay, as I see him turn his head and start conversing, grab him for the gun, pointing to the ceiling.
Act under pressure.
Perfect. I'm gonna roll to help because I'm distracting. Yeah. Regardless if it's
a cool thing. Shit.
Let's help out. Okay, I roll 7 to help out, so I do help out. So you get a +1 to this, Taylor.
I'm gonna need it.
Yeah. You and I are not cool.
We're not cool.
We need some sort of smooth operator.
Okay. With the help, it's a 7.
No. Oh my god, that's so close.
Something bad's gonna happen though.
Okay, so I feel like you grab his shotgun and you point it towards the ceiling, and he jerks around, and he lets go a shot into the ceiling. But as he's jerking, he hits his elbow back and knocks the pistol out of Birch's hand.
Okay.
And then he spins around and tries to tackle Birch.
Do we roll kick ass here? Because I'm wearing fucking weighted punching gloves. Okay. Like as the pistol goes out, I'm gonna like take the left hand back and be ready to deck him when he comes at me. I get a 7. As good as can be expected. And so with kick some ass.
How much harm do you do?
With my gloves, I do 1 harm.
Okay, so you do 1 harm upon Marcus, and he tackles you. He spears you basically, and you go flying into like the back wall with him. Sherriff, do you do anything? You still have his shotgun in your hand.
I still have it in my hand.
He's kind of, with all that, he let go of it to focus on Birch.
Now, is this a pump, or is this
it's like an old-fashioned
lever action,
double-barreled?
All right, so 1 shot is going on.
Yeah, but you heard him reload it. It's full of shots.
All right, so
you're right. He fired into the ceiling, so there's 1 shot left.
All right, so gonna bring it around, pointing at the both of them. Be like, Littlow, get up, stand away from deputy.
I'm going to contest that by kicking ass again.
Okay.
I think as he tries to get his attention.
So you guys are like kind of like on the half down.
I figure you guys are scuffed.
You know what I mean? So
He's
what do you do? Like, tell me what kind
I'm going to say if as soon as he if his attention goes away at all, like he's about to entertain this, I'm going to try and get him like his head under my arm, and I'm just going to go for the kidney shots.
Okay, perfect.
Just keep fighting until he not fully incapacitate him, because he'll be able to swing at me, but just keep trying. And if Taylor feels like his thing is helping me out or not, I know he might not agree with this, so he might not, but oh booyah, that is 11 on kick some ass.
Oh, nice.
And so do I still take a harm on that?
So I didn't give you harm on the first one, right?
I figured. Oh, sorry. I thought I took it regardless.
No. He's not that strong. Remember, he's just a human.
Okay.
So I think now you'll take 1 harm from this kerfuffle between the two. I think he's getting some shots in on you as you guys are scuffling on the ground.
Yeah.
What's the extra effect that you want to use?
What I want to do. Let me look at them again. I think where his head is at, he's gonna inflict terrible harm.
Okay.
Like I'm punching him in the ribs. Like I'm trying to get him like out.
You inflict this terrible harm on him.
Yeah. So 3 total now.
So you've just pummeled one of his kidneys really bad. He lets out like a cry, and he kind of goes limp and like rolls away from you, and he's on the ground like clutching his side, and it's like, Birch, I think you sure did get the drop on me. And like you can tell the fight is gone from him.
Good. When I drop you, you stay down.
Birch, settle down now.
So yeah, he's just in agony on the ground right now with like just clutching his side. Like you've bruised him pretty bad.
And I'm gonna make a point of picking up my pistol, because if it's on the ground anywhere near him, I'm gonna have to kill him. I think.
I think the sheriff's gonna hand Birch a shotgun.
Yeah, revolver
Birch,
back
here,
on the
this.
hip, and then
I'm gonna
empty every single shell out of it. Just pop, 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 pop.
It's a barrel shotgun, so it's just 1 shell you pull out and the empty cartridge.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go to make sure Birch hasn't killed this man or causing him to slowly die.
So like with the firelight, you can kind of get a good look at his face and see that he's not dying. He's just hurt.
He's 1 below unstable. Yeah.
And it's really weird that there's a firelight, because just a moment ago it was dark in here.
Oh shit! And that's he's doing all that. Sheriff's doing this, and then he's gonna be like,
I have a plan for this.
You turn around and the fireplace has a roaring fire in it. There's no fuel. It's just a flame.
Birch, load that gun.
No, when I unload the gun, I turn to the fire, and I'm just gonna I don't know if I see the nightmare or not. I'm just going to drop the gun on the ground. I'm gonna point at Littlow on the ground, like, he's not hurting anyone anymore. Nella, burn this place to the ground if you have to, but be at peace. He will come to justice.
While he says this, Sherriff is just looking straight into Litlow's eyes. He's looking for some reaction.
Littlow has his eyes on the fireplace and he's scared.
Mr. Littlow, you seem to know something here. Just kind of whispering to him, like not
like under me yelling,
like accusingly, like whispering, like Mr. Littlow, I didn't think he was afraid of fire.
Sheriff, you need to protect me from that beast from hell itself. It means to destroy the town.
Nella, we're going to make sure that everyone knows what he did to you and Virgil. Everyone is going to know. You can rest now. I'm just going to, like, while he's whispering, I'm just yelling stuff like that. Like this pathetic man on the ground sniveling for his life.
When Hobbs mentions Nella and Virgil, Littlow looks at him and looks like defeated.
Yeah.
No, Mr. Littlow, you're right, I will protect you. But my job as sheriff is to protect everyone of this town, be they living or dead.
As you say dead, the nightmare bursts from the fireplace and charges at Hobbs.
Okay. I'm going to stand my ground, and as it's like coming at me, be like, whoa, Nella. Twice in one episode.
You have to kill him now. You can't let that sit.
I'm just gonna like
combust.
Arms out, and again just like gesturing down, be like, it's over. But you cannot kill him. People need to know he's the only one.
You don't have a lot of time. As you said, It's over. The horse actually charges into you. You go flying backwards and hits something, take another harm.
Okay.
It spins around and knocks. I know you have your back a bit to it. Sheriff knocks you to the ground. You go stumble and fall beside Littlow at this point. It does like a spin in the room. It's not a large room. This horse takes up a lot of room, and it rears up on its back legs. It feels like it should be touching the ceiling, but it's weird because it's not. And it starts just pummeling a part of the floorboards on the ground.
Marcus, where are they buried?
Marcus is in terror. He's not moving. He's not talking. He's just looking at this horse.
At this point, I'm gonna grab him. Marcus, look at me. Not the horse, look at me. Where are they buried?
He points to where the horse is just stamping its feet, and then it stops, and the light begins to fade from its mane, and it just disappears into smoke.
Birch.
Getting up out of the pile I've fallen into.
I imagine you're smoking.
Yeah, there's just
You've been thrown through a wall. Just...
So you can heal a burn, Sheriff, but it doesn't stop it from stinging around heat.
You are just not good with horses today, are you?
I'm having one of those non-equestrian sort of days. Oh.
Alright, well, you get your burnt ass over here and you watch this man down here on the ground.
Yeah, I'm gonna put in my knee on the ground and my hand on his chest, grabbing his shirt and kind of keeping my weight forward, not holding him to the ground, but if he goes to get up, I'm just gonna shove him again. You
can tell there's not much fight left at this point between your kidney shots and the shock of this spirit appearing in his old home.
I think the sheriff is going to gather some sort of probably fire implement. I'm sure they have a shovel or a pick kind of thing. And
there's a fire poker.
Yeah, just going to kind of keep digging at the floor.
I feel like you'll
eventually
you'll have to bash through some of the floorboards still there.
Mm-hmm.
As you're doing it, you can kind of notice that the type of wood is actually different than the rest of the floorboards. There's something weird about this spot that the horse stamped through. You know that you're going to find something here. It's not long before you've pulled the boards back and there's earth. I feel at this point you start digging with your fingers.
Yeah, once I get down to the earth and I can see it's probably unsettled, I'll start just kind of scooping it out.
And before long,
and just head down. I feel like the sheriff has probably been through some large conflict, so he's not scared of death, so to speak, but he doesn't like it. And
Yeah.
being old-fashioned, he really doesn't like dead women. So he's just eyes on the ground, just shoveling it. Not like manically, not fast, but like
I think
With
I
purpose.
picture being so slow and deliberate
With
that
purpose.
it's like,
you feel a weight behind it. Like
yeah.
just not maybe anger, but like displeasure. Like it is cold around the sheriff. Like
So
it is not.
I feel like you're kneeling and you put both your hands in, scoop back. Put both your hands in, scoop back. And you put your hands in and you can feel something smooth and hard. And you pull back and you reveal eye sockets and a nose socket and teeth that are just still filled with dirt. And you just reveal a human skull.
I figure I've been watching you the whole time and like I can see it on your face. I'm going to say, Sheriff, you got proof over there?
the sheriff's just gonna kind of sit back, probably up on the floorboards, because I imagine there's some space
Yeah.
between.
Yeah.
Just gonna look down. He's gonna like, "Hello, Nella."
And when you say that, you hear my revolver hammer click.
And at that point, my hand is gonna shoot out, point at you. You,
Yeah.
without
okay.
even looking up.
Yeah.
Birch, you about to throw yourself down a mine of clear gold that I can't find the means to pull you out of again.
And Birch, you hear the hammer click again with like a resigned sigh. And then you hear like Litlow's weight kind of hit the ground as I let go of his shirt and pull the gun back away from his head.
Say nothing about smacking the man. It's like, what at that point?
Yeah, I'm gonna. You then hear like his weight hit the wood, and then like a thud as I knock his head again. I can roll if you want, but I don't think he's kicking ass back.
No.
I don't think you're even like intending to like harm, so to speak.
Yeah.
But
I want him to feel his head hit the floor.
He certainly does.
yeah,
So
Yeah.
you've uncovered human bones, and you assume it must be Nella. You know that Virgil was somewhere else. He's probably outside.
probably.
But like him bringing her home and burying her here is,
So fucked up.
yeah.
Like they clearly like Virgil's body was somewhere the nightmare could get to because it was like exhumed, but like for it to not have, oh, man, I hate this guy so much.
Listen, House and Home's got a mighty magic about it,
Yeah.
especially a hearth. And I assume we're by the fireplace, so that's
Yeah.
not something you can fuck with.
Is he still conscious after I've knocked him about?
He's pretty much out.
Okay, then I'm gonna like turn his head so like he's blear-eyed looking at me and be like, everything that has happened, you did to yourself after you did it to the two of them, and then just like let him go, and I'm gonna stand up, just like leave him be.
The sheriff will have continued to like uncover, but like a lot more gently now. Like I figure eventually we'll come across some sort of notable heirloom that Nella was known for wearing, possibly a ring, a necklace, or maybe the remains of like a certain gown or something.
Yeah, you would find her wedding ring. It'd be marked with a N plus M, and then the year that they were married. So you do find her wedding ring, bits and pieces of clothing, but the wedding ring is enough. Yeah, so you do find that.
All right.
Sheriff, I'm gonna like, now that I've like taken a couple like paces and like lapped around and tried to defuse after you dropped that shit on me, I'm gonna put my hand on your shoulder and be like, we can get the rest of her once everything's done. I don't think you have to do this yourself. She'll be laid to rest, sir, but I don't think you have to worry about it right now.
No, we got other matters to attend to. He tied up?
Yeah, I've left him legitimately, like if he wants to try and crawl away, I've been like, the thing that the sheriff said to Birch has distracted him. And he said to like,
He's not going anywhere.
yeah, like walk around and like,
He's got a minor concussion. His kidney's shot. Like he's not in a good way.
Tie that scum up and get him over the horse.
yeah, sheriff, I'm going to do that. I'm going to put him over his own horse.
I think a big thing for the sheriff also is names. And I think omitting a name now is big.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even if it's a name around town that you're known by, last name, first name, like a formal thing, like maybe you're the minister or something like that.
Yeah, title.
But now it's nothing.
Yeah.
So you sling the near unconscious Littlow across his stolen horse. You jump up on it, and you guys are starting to leave. You suddenly get the urge to turn around once you're down the path. When you're approaching, you know that there's a lot of underbrush and stuff between you and the house, even where you'd walk to. But it's as if, like, when you turn around, it's as if the forest has peeled back to reveal the house to you now when you look back. The house is in flames, completely engulfed. The front door is open, and you do see the shadow of a woman in the flames. You know that the spirit of Nella is finally been able to get some peace with what you've done today. And you turn around and continue back to Tombstone.
I shoot at it.
Act under pressure.
No, that's I think we get to the ranch, and I'll like hop off the horse and like just take its reins and Pickle's reins and start walking back with the sheriff kind of leading the way. And I think when we stop at the ranch, I might go into the house and maybe get like water or something, like for me and the sheriff, and begrudgingly for Littlow, who's probably like either completely out or coming to a little bit on the trip.
I feel like when you get to the ranch, you'd probably come out to, they probably have a pump close by. Yeah. I think you'd go up to the pump and slowly pump some water into the bucket, and you'd probably like splash.
Put a rag over his face and just start pumping water onto it.
Yeah, and like you'd probably splash your face, take a drink, and I think you'd really reflect on just what's happened.
Sheriff, why don't you come wash the dirt off them hands?
Just kind of silently, yeah, goes over.
Taylor is rubbing his hands together for us on camera. We've been very not to get too far away from everything, but we've been very emphatic since we're on the webcam. And I realized there was a moment where Taylor had his hands up and Eric and I were pointing guns at each other on webcam.
The whole time that, we were threatening Mr. Littlow.
Yeah, like I was saying earlier, like we don't do this when we're playing Pathfinder. It's not like this.
Yeah.
It's a really fun experience. And then one day, hopefully we can play in person. I think we'll have even that much more energy.
Awesome.
Oh yeah.
But it has been a very good game for over the web. I think it's been just as good as when I've played it in person before. So it's exciting. As you guys are washing up, Marcus comes to a little bit and says, I didn't mean to kill her, Sheriff, Deputy. I didn't mean it.
Didn't mean to kill her? What about Virgil?
Well,
and I say this while I'm washing my hands again. Like I'm not looking at him when I talk, and it's cold.
I meant to kill Virgil. I shot him out in the wilderness. I caught him and Nella out, and I shot him, and I brought her home. And I strangled her, and I burnt her body in our fireplace, and I buried her bones. But I didn't mean to, Sheriff.
As far as I can tell from what Alva said about these past few days, you definitely meant to kill her.
If I didn't get that money, Merle's going to break my legs and take my farm and do God knows what to Alva. It would have been a mercy what I was going to do to her. You got to understand, Deputy.
I don't think it's your place to say what mercy is when your attempts at... And I'm going to walk away. Just steaming.
Gonna walk back to the horse. Kind of grab him by the cuff of the shirt.
He's crying at this point.
I've been through a lot of things. Seen a lot of death. Caused a lot of death. And let me tell you, you don't accidentally strangle someone.
I accidentally didn't stop strangling her. That was the problem.
Okay.
Deputy, let's get going.
The sheriff is sitting on his porch mid-afternoon, watching as there's a crowd gathering to get onto the stagecoach. There's 3 or 4 people And Birch is standing close to the stagecoach, hat in hand. Miss Alva walks up to him and says, Deputy Hobbs, I'm so happy you came to see me off today. I can't believe I'm leaving Tombstone for the last time. I just gotta say, you were mighty kind to me when I needed a friend, and you told me the hard truth.
Of course, and I know your mother must miss you dearly, so you'll be doing her quite the favor heading on home.
Yeah, and from the sounds of it, I'm going to be a widow soon, and this place has too many bad memories. I wish I could stay. And at this point, she kind of reaches out to your hand that's holding your hat and touches your one hand and says, I wish that I could have got to know you a little bit better, but my mother misses me dearly.
I'm going to put my hat that she's touching my hand that's holding the hat, and I'm going to almost like it seems like I'm knocking her hand away, but as I do, I take the hat, I'm going to put it on her head. I'm going to if she's got a jacket, I'm going to straighten the collar. So I'm be like, well, I'll write. And just curt and not hold on. Yeah, just kind of quiet, doesn't know what to say. He's like, I'll write.
So how far away is this from the porch that I'm on?
Not far. You can kind of hear what they're saying.
So I can see and hear this. Birch, just go on and kiss the girl. Christ's sake.
He's gonna freeze and just.
She looks back at you, Sherriff, and she's got daggers in her eyes, and she says, and she turns.
I'm just gonna tip the hat.
She turns back to Birch and she says, Birch, you know I'm a married woman, and
I'm aware that you are a married woman, ma'am.
And at this point, she touches your hand again, and then moves past you and boards the coach.
Tips my hat to her or to me. I legitimately put it on her head and send her on her way.
Yeah, she seems quite happy about having your hat. And
yeah, I figure that this is one of those times that I am making a web friend.
Yes,
quote unquote, as well. Yeah. On top of the cult background.
Yeah.
But I sheepishly wave, and I look like I've been out in the sun for 12 days straight. I'm that red.
The stagecoach leaves town. It's getting further and further away. Before it's quite gone over the horizon, you see Miss Alva lean out of the window, take your hat off her head and wave it. And one final goodbye. And it looks like you're going to need a new hat. Day is coming where the railroad will arrive in Tombstone.
And then we get to fight a fiery ghost train.
Yeah, that's...
Nice.
Yeah, shut up.